Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, chubby little cubby all stuffed with fluffies, Winnie the Pooh. Hello everyone, this is the LEGO Ideas Winnie the Pooh set, and I built this live on this channel. It was a very enjoyable build. However, now it's time to get serious and review this thing and see what's good about it and what's not so good. Okay, I give up. I yield. I can't be too serious about a Winnie the Pooh set, especially one that looks this charming. Let's start off with a look at the minifigures. So here are Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. And when LEGO first announced that they were going to produce this set, that it was going to be mass produced and actually made from the Ideas fan submission, I worried about one thing and one thing only. And that was the design of the figures. I worried that they weren't going to do a good job. They weren't going to make enough new specialized molds for them. And thankfully, at least these two here, most important to me personally, seem to be really, really good. I like these a lot. You see, I was, at a very, very, very early age, a Winnie the Pooh fan of sorts, because back before I was able to read, back before I was able to talk, I believe, my very first stuffed animal was a very poor rendition of Winnie the Pooh. And I believe we also had the original record, or one of the original records of, vinyl I guess it was of a story, but I don't remember it that well. I just remember a little bit of the song, but that's it. So I wanted them to do good justice to that little bit of fond memory of my childhood, and I really feel like they did here with the new molds. I'm surprised that Tigger looks as good to me, to my eyes, as he does. Because they went with that really nice, very organic, sketchy style for the stripes. The shape of the head is really good. The production work is very good. The printing on the tummy of Winnie the Pooh there is pretty good. Could have been a little bit better, a little bit more opaque. You got the dual molded arms there. Tigger does not have a springy, coil spring shaped tail, but he does have a tail with printing on it. There's printing around the back of the neck as well. So overall, I'm just very happy with everything that we got here, at least so far. Honestly, I was never that big of a fan of Rabbit in my very, very young days, but I did like Piglet. So just declaring a little bit of my bias there. However, that said, between these two figures, I think that Rabbit is the better one, because that head mold is just so good. It's so classic Disney. They went all the way in the direction of following the source material for these. Obviously this isn't original. This is Disney classic style, but I'm so glad about that, because that's what I was worried about the very most, that LEGO would try to do some of these characters as just regular minifigs, regular minifig heads that were printed with some add-ons for the ears or something like that. But no, thankfully they did it right. I'm so glad for that. And then Eeyore, unfortunately, is just a single piece mold, except for the little Friends style bow that is attached to the tail there. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. I wish that you could have had some form of articulation. But again, the shaping is really, really good. The printing there is really, really good. Just the graphic design work and the sculpting work here, I think, is excellent. This one does clearly bring in a little bit of the LEGO style with the body shaping, but they do a good job of blending up towards the head, keeping the mane on there that's well sculpted up. The tail also has its own unique sculpting. So this one looks pretty good. It's just too bad that it's not able to move. And then the house. Can we call this a tree house? Because, it kind of is a house in a tree. It's not up in a tree, but it's still in a tree, right? This is fairly unique. LEGO hasn't done things like this very much. I feel just a little bit of a sense of a Hogwarts house over on the right, but then the more natural part of it with the tree and the greenery towards the base feels like Bag End, the Baggins house from The Hobbit. So maybe a little bit of commonality there, just in overall look. But the build for this was unique, completely unique. I'm glad that it's completed around the back. You don't have an open back to the house there, although you can open it to get access inside of it. It has a new way of doing foliage. They haven't done that before. We'll take a closer look at that. I just wanted to let you see this from all the different angles because it does look rather different from different angles, and there's not a lot of symmetry. The house has some symmetry to it, but they try to break that up with some of the smaller details. And the tree does use 6 clumps of identical foliage, but the way that they're placed, they don't look the same. You don't immediately see the repetition there, so that's nice. Looking at details, starting from the door, you are invited to both knock and ring. The Mr. Sanders tile up above that sign is a print, and then the ring also, little sign off to the left, little note, is a sticker. So you'll see a combination of stickers and prints throughout this. You have the old coil spring styled outside door bell, a little bit of pathway, and again, the greenery, just how these are shaped up from different angles and the little bits of extra foliage just stuck onto the edge. This is actually my favorite part, I think, of the entire set right here. Just this root, how this comes down. The shaping of it is fantastic, and how it gets put in there was very enjoyable and just very satisfying. I like these little mushrooms as well. That's good part usage for those. They actually the designer hid a lot of gray, just regular light gray colored flowers throughout this build to provide some spacing. You got the log there, which does have a spot where you can sit a minifig, so Winnie himself can just sit right there. You got a small little bit of honey there, and you got a larger one, a proper bucket or pot, and that is a printed piece. We'll see better detail for that on another copy of it inside. Got a snail around the corner there. This isn't the best shaping. I mean, it fits together nicely. The build was cool, but it doesn't look as good as the root did around the other side, you know? But continuing up, we have building in all sorts of different directions. And then there are the beehives up in the tree with these printed bees. So this is a 1x1 round tile. 4 of them spin around. I intentionally put these at different spots just to kind of break it up, but I think you're intended to put them all at the same level, so they spin around at exactly the same level. But I don't know, it's just a cool little comic thing that they did there. And here you see with the foliage that they used the coral pieces in bright green, which works really well. It's a good foundation for some foliage, and each of these clumps is placed onto the end of a branch with a small ball joint. So you can change the angles. You can really change the look of this tree by making these more flat or bringing them down around. You can make it look more dense or less, more tiered. You can kind of expose the beehives, the natural ones. You've got another one over there. You can kind of close them up. So this is a little half and half. This is the exact same thing again, but you know, it's nice. And if you want to bring some other characters into this, you can. There are plenty of places where you can have figures climbing around or sitting up in the tree, or if you have some custom birds that you want to bring along, there are plenty of spots to seat them. It's very natural. It's very inviting. This upper section of branches is offset a little bit. You can even change that. Just it's placed on a small turntable here and then locked into place, but you can change the offset of it. The 2 roof halves are very similar, with the exception of the stovepipe that sticks up here, and it's angled and it's kind of off to the side. It's intended to be kind of comic looking. I think they're successful with that. It's nice to get different colors here. It breaks up the monotony of a common shape, just how the slats are done. If that was all one color, it would have been relatively boring, but it's nice to also have a few leaves that have fallen down there. I think that the outside of the house looks well and good enough, but not great. It doesn't have any I like the roof, but just down here, okay, yeah, it's fine. I like a little ladybug beetle. It's printed nicely. You also get a spare of that, but around the other side, you're seeing pretty much the same thing until you open the whole thing up. So this is where you get to the interior. Okay, now we're talking. So there's one of those honey pots that's done in a dark orange color with the print around the outside, which is quite nice. Has just a little bit of trans yellow honey inside of it. There's just a teacup, and there you can see the stove, or I guess you could consider it to be an oven, but this is just a brick-built small chair, little lounge chair there with a single sticker. Got another sticker back there for the bees going around. They created some curtains that have been pulled to the sides. Of course, you can open the, I can't quite get my finger in there. It's too small. The space is too small. There we go. Open up the shutters outside. It doesn't really let all that much light in, doesn't really change the look of things that much. Upstairs, you also get an attic space, so there's a little bit there. It's been at least attempted to be used. So a box of Pooh sticks. Sounds bad, but I mean, in the story, it made sense. It's just sticks that were used to play a very simple game. You also have a golden heart up there, and on the other side of the attic, which would be contained or combined together when you close the house up, you have extra stores of honey. So there's another one of those same pots there. So 3 in total in the set with that nice unique print on it. And then down below, you just have the bed with bed posts that are done in, this color is dark azure, same color as the curtains back there. And just the little light, the little candle. And towards the front, there's a mirror. It's a real mirror. So I'm not sure if you can really see, there's a reflection from my finger there. They have one single sticker sheet in this set that has the mirrored backing to it. Got a holder for an umbrella there, and a tea set over on this side. And up on the wall, you have a map of an area probably roughly equal to 100 acres. Just an assumption there, just a guess. The door, by the way, opens inside like so. Doesn't have a lot of space to get through. I do think the overall strategy here for how this was designed was pretty successful. There's a good density of detail inside. You can place figures on either side. You can place at least one figure in the entranceway, and it does close up all nicely for the standard display that most people, I'd say, would want to see and would want to be good, Last up, this 100-acre wood sign has a couple stickers used on the tan pieces, and then the other things you see here that are decorated are prints, except on the storybook, which uses all stickers. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to get at least one exclusive print there, but unusually for a book, you have 3 decorations, so one for the outside cover, one for the inside cover, and then one for the first page of the book with the little iconic scene of Winnie the Pooh with the giant red balloon. There are a lot of spare pieces here, and quite a number of them are quite nice, at least in my opinion, things that you don't get much of. And then looking at the sticker sheet, there were 2 sticker sheets that came with this. So one of them is white backed, like so, not too many there. And then one of them was chrome backed, and that's the one that had obviously the mirror surface, the literal mirror. The other one is the map, but the map doesn't show any of the chrome on it. It's just kind of how things worked out with the layouts to not waste too much space, I suppose. You can have all this today for the low price of only $100 US. Ouch. Well, it does come with 1,265 pieces. That's 1,265 pieces. So $100 US. Gives it a very nice looking price to part ratio that I think is fair even when you consider the sizes of pieces. This does have a lot of small pieces. I mean, it has many small pieces used for the foliage for the tree alone, and also for the shingles for the roof. And I went out of my way to mention many light gray colored flowers used as part of the build as just spacers and everything. There are a lot of little pieces here, but ultimately, I care about the volume of stuff. That's always what I care about. How much goodness do you get here? What is the amount of stuff that you get for the price that you pay? And this does not feel like $100 worth of plastic to me. You can look at the price to part ratio. You can look at these very good new figures. And people who especially appreciate figures will see more value in these than I personally do. I think these were very well done, but I just don't have that deeply ingrained love for and appreciation for figures as things of value. They are invaluable here. They are absolutely key. Lego could have made a Winnie the Pooh set without any build, maybe just with this, and just done a minifigure pack. And that would have been excellent for many people. but I am more of a build person myself, and I value the build. I value how much stuff is here, and also the quality of it. The quality of it is excellent. It is absolutely excellent. This is great. It could have been done slightly better. I think looking over on, like I said, on this side alone, just because I like this so much. It's so good. So that could have been a little bit better. But otherwise, I mean, the amount of detail here, how it goes together, the enjoyment of the building process, how you can change what the tree looks like. Those beehives are excellent. There's a lot of good stuff here, but it doesn't feel like $100 to me. I have tried my hardest. I've tried my best to mentally just be okay with that price, and I can't. So I'm sorry. Don't like the price. I just don't like it. I don't like the price. I like the set. I like the set so much. I wish that it was $80 or less US for the amount of stuff that's here. Personal opinion. Otherwise, excellent job spreading joy by the original fan designer and the Lego designer who took it and ran with it. Kept it fairly close, to the original submission in its overall strategy. I'd say, its overall layout and everything. Of course, it's based on an existing IP, so nothing is truly new here. But selecting the individual details, how things were approached from a build perspective, all that is absolutely wonderful. I did the build for this live on this channel, so this is another one where I don't have a pure build for you to check out. But if you want to see the live build, I believe I did it all in one single session, so you can check that out. It's kind of real time, right? It's just a little bit slower and with a lot of talking with the interaction with the chat. I very much appreciated that. Got a lot of love and support there, which was absolutely wonderful. Made it more of a joy than it would have been just naturally, but I will continue to support the folks that want to see my pure builds and or my speed builds for most sets going forward. Thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it absolutely. Just didn't like the price. I'll talk to you again soon. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, chubby little cubby all stuffed with fluffies. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, willy-nilly silly old bear.